My parents hid a devastating secret. My brother was sleeping with my wife. But at the baby shower, the gift I unleashed didn't just expose their betrayal. It triggered a wave of extreme violence that shattered their carefully constructed world. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ryan, and I've just received the most shocking revelation imaginable. But before we get to that, you need to understand my family. You see, I always knew I wasn't the favorite. Nobody ever said it directly, but you feel it deep in your bones. It's in the way your parents look at you compared to your sibling, how they talk to you, how they always choose them in both the small and the monumental moments. My brother Liam was always the golden child. The one who could do no wrong, who soaked up all the love and attention, while I watched from the shadows. Growing up, it was painfully obvious. If Liam got a good grade, it would be framed on the wall. If I got a good grade, I'd get a brief, distracted smile before they went right back to gushing about Liam's latest achievement. I was his shadow, always a step behind. But despite everything, I never hated him. Sure, I resented the way my parents put him on a pedestal, but he was my brother, and I loved him. Back then, I didn't blame him for our parents' unfair treatment. I truly believed that even if things weren't fair in childhood, as adults we'd find our place, and our relationship would balance out. I was wrong. So terribly, agonizingly wrong. 2 days ago, my entire world imploded. It was supposed to be a happy evening. My parents had invited us over for dinner to celebrate my wife's pregnancy. I was genuinely thrilled for them to host. My wife Bella and I had been trying for a while, and I knew how much starting a family meant to her. Plus, Liam's wife was there, so despite the familiar knot in my stomach, that constant reminder that I was never enough, always second best compared to Liam, I went. Bella, my wife, was by my side, as she had been for the past 5 years. She understood how complicated my family relationship was, and had always been my unwavering support. The one person who truly made me feel seen. Or so I thought. Dinner was fine. Normal even. We all sat around the table laughing, celebrating Bella's news. My parents, as expected, were beaming with pride, gushing about Bella's pregnancy as if she had invented motherhood herself. That didn't surprise me anymore. I was happy just pretending everything was perfectly fine. It was later, when I overheard my parents talking, that my entire world fell apart. After dinner, I excused myself to use the bathroom. On my way back, I passed by the kitchen and heard my parents whispering. I should have kept walking, but something in their hushed, urgent tones made me stop. And that's when I heard it. My mom was saying they would never tell me anything about Liam's mistake. First, I was confused, wondering what mistake they were even talking about. But then the answer hit me like a physical blow. They were talking about how Liam had slept with Bella, my wife. Apparently it happened a few months ago, and they decided not to tell me. To protect Liam. Because he was their precious boy and didn't deserve to have his image tarnished. They called it a simple mistake, a lapse in judgment, something that should be forgiven. Because, according to them, the important thing was that he managed to get my wife pregnant. I stood there frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe. The walls seemed to close in around me. My mind was flooded with disbelief, betrayal, and a searing rage. My wife, my partner, the woman I trusted with my very life, was a traitor. And with none other than my own brother. Worse, my parents knew. They had kept it a secret, choosing to protect Liam instead of telling me the truth. They chose him again over me. It felt like all those years of feeling less than, of being secondary, were somehow validated. They made their decision, and it wasn't me. I don't even remember how I left that house that night. I vaguely recall muttering something about not feeling well, needing to leave. I couldn't face them. Not my parents, not Liam, and especially not Bella. So I just left. Got in my car and drove, but I don't remember where I went. I just needed to be away from them, away from the sickening reality of what I had just learned. It felt like my whole life was a cruel joke, like nothing made sense anymore. Like I was falling into a void with no way to stop. It's been 2 agonizing days and I still can't process it. I haven't confronted anyone. I've barely spoken to Bella since that night. She keeps asking me what's wrong, why I'm so distant, but I can't even look her in the eye, let alone talk to her. Every time I see her, all I can think about is her with him. My brother. How could she do this to me? How could he? And how could my parents hide it as if it didn't matter, as if I didn't matter? I keep replaying their conversation in my head, hearing my parents say Liam's mistake shouldn't ruin his life, that it was just a slip. But what about my life? My marriage? Does that not count? Do I not count? It feels like I've been erased, like I'm a secondary character in a story that should be mine. But somehow it's always about Liam. No matter what he does, no matter how much he hurts me, they will always protect him. And here I am, picking up the pieces, trying to figure out how to move forward when everything I thought I knew has been turned upside down. The horrifying realization that Bella became pregnant while she was sleeping with my brother makes me question if the baby is even mine. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should confront Bella and demand the truth, or if I should talk to my parents and tell them how deeply they've wounded me. I don't know who to face first. I don't even know if I have the strength to face Liam. The thought of talking to him, of hearing whatever pathetic excuse he might have for betraying me, makes my stomach churn. But I can't keep living like this, pretending everything is okay when it's not. I can't keep this secret inside, letting it poison every thought, every moment. A part of me wants to scream at them all, to tell them how much they've hurt me and how much they've destroyed. But another part just wants to leave, to walk away and never look back. I don't know which part to listen to. I don't even know if there's a right choice here. All I know is that I feel completely broken, and I don't know how to put the pieces back together. I've spent my whole life feeling like I'm not enough, like I don't matter. And now, after all this, it seems like that's been confirmed. My parents have made it clear that Liam will always be the priority, no matter what he does or who he hurts. But where does that leave me? How do I move forward knowing that the people who should love and protect me have chosen someone else, time and time again? I have no answers. I wish I did. I wish I knew what to do, how to fix this, or at least how to move on. But right now, all I feel is overwhelming betrayal and pain, and I don't even know how to make it stop. That's why I'm here, telling this story, hoping that someone, anyone, will understand. It's been more than 2 weeks since that night. I've had time to think, to feel, and to plan. At first, I was paralyzed by the pain, confusion, and betrayal. But that numbness has faded, replaced by something cold, sharp, and much more dangerous. I initially thought confronting Bella, Liam, and my parents might give me some closure, but now I've decided on something completely different. Yes, I will confront them, but not to yell, cry, or ask for explanations. Instead, I want them to feel the same soul-crushing pain I've been drowning in. I want revenge. I'm going to exact the most thorough revenge possible, within the bounds of the law. These past few days I've been meticulous. I've been patient. They think I know nothing. They think I'm that second-rate son and husband who just smiles and goes along with everything. Let them keep thinking that, because in the meantime I've been working in silence, gathering every piece of evidence to back up everything I overheard that night. Betrayal always leaves traces, even when the betrayers think they've covered their tracks. And I was determined to find every last detail they thought was hidden. First, let me tell you about the baby shower. Yes, there's a baby shower. A few days after my last update, my mother called me with her usual cheerful tone, pretending as if nothing had happened, as if she hadn't been part of this massive betrayal. She wanted to know if I'd organize my wife's baby shower. For my family, I'm basically a servant, and of course I'd be the one to take care of it. If the situation were reversed, she wouldn't dream of asking Liam. She wanted me to celebrate the very person who destroyed my marriage and my life. The sheer audacity left me speechless for a moment. But then an idea sparked. This could be the perfect opportunity to set the stage for what was coming. Of course I agreed. I said yes, making sure my voice didn't reveal my true intentions in the slightest. She was so pleased, almost euphoric. "Liam will be so happy," she chirped. I smiled over the phone, thinking about how happy Liam would be when he found out what I had planned for him. By the way, if you're still with me and gripped by this unbelievable story, make sure to hit subscribe. More shocking revelations are coming. Before making my move, I needed to gather as much as possible. I became almost obsessive about uncovering every last secret, every message, every piece of evidence showing exactly what they did to me. At night, while Bella slept soundly beside me, I meticulously went through her phone, her laptop, even her old backups. At first, I wasn't sure if I'd find anything. Maybe they'd been smart enough to cover their tracks. But people always get careless when they think they have the upper hand. The first evidence came in the form of a hidden folder on her phone. She thought she was clever, naming it something innocent, but I knew better. Inside were photos, pictures of her with Liam. And it turns out it wasn't just once but an elaborate affair. Some photos seemed innocent at first glance, but others, well, let's just say they made it painfully clear what had happened between them. My stomach turned as I looked at them, but I didn't stop. In the following nights I kept digging: text messages, emails, old social media chats. I found conversations between Liam and Bella, some from months ago, talking about how careful they'd been to make sure I didn't find out. Their words hurt, but they also fueled me. They were so casual about it, as if I were nothing more than an obstacle in their way. But the real bombshell came when I found messages between my parents and Liam. My mother, in particular, had been actively helping to keep it all a secret. There were conversations about how Ryan didn't need to know, and about the importance of protecting Liam's image. Liam even sent screenshots of these messages to Bella, assuring her that our parents were on their side, and that they didn't have to worry about me finding out. I felt physically sick reading it. They didn't care that I'm their own son. All they cared about was Liam's reputation. I've saved everything. Every photo, every message, every piece of evidence is now carefully stored on my device. I've backed it all up just in case. I wasn't going to rush. I was going to wait for the perfect moment to act. Maybe at the baby shower, maybe afterward. But I would make sure that when it all fell apart, it fell apart hard. They wouldn't know what hit them. It's been about a week since my last update, and there's so much I need to share, although I'm not sure where to start. The events of yesterday feel like they played out in a dream, or maybe a nightmare, it depends on who you ask. I spent the day at the baby shower, playing the part of the perfect host, all while hiding the storm brewing inside me. The facade was carefully crafted. I was the supportive brother, the cheerful son, the obedient husband. Everyone was there. Family, friends, and Liam's wife, none of whom knew about the storm about to be unleashed. The celebration itself was an elaborate event, and my mother, unsurprisingly, was practically bursting with pride, ensuring everything was perfect for her golden Liam. My parents had no idea the real gift was coming, and it was for me. A gift that would shatter the carefully constructed world they had built. I was acutely aware of my racing heart, my pulse pounding, not from excitement, but from the raw anticipation of the chaos about to unfold. As the day went on, I engaged in light conversations, laughed at shallow jokes, and arranged the many baby gifts stacked on the table. The whole time I was intensely aware of the ticking time bomb about to explode. I could see Liam enjoying the attention, his smug smile. It wouldn't last long, but the longer he thought he'd gotten away with it, the better for my revenge. The moment came when my wife cut the cake. Everyone clapped and congratulated her, and I felt my pulse race even more as I prepared to give her my special gift. Then I called Liam's name, and I told everyone it came from the heart. Deep down, I knew it came from the depths of my pain. I stood up to address everyone, and the noise in the room fell silent. Bella looked at me with a bright smile, visibly excited, as she reached for the beautifully wrapped box. I had put effort into the presentation. Exquisite paper, a luxurious bow, all designed to create a sense of anticipation and make it seem like a very important gift, which it was. Everyone gathered around Bella to get a closer look as she began to unwrap it. Inside were printed photos, shocking images of her and Liam in very compromising situations, intimate moments frozen in time, the kind of photos you would never want your family to see. I had carefully chosen the most incriminating images, the ones that revealed their betrayal with undeniable clarity. Bella's expression changed from excitement to confusion, and then to absolute horror as she processed the contents of the box. The atmosphere in the room shifted. Murmurs started, people realized what was happening, and the implications of the photos for everyone involved. Liam, me, and my wife. But I wasn't done. As the questions began, directed at either Bella or me, I unveiled decorative curtains that displayed the same photos, enlarged and arranged in a striking format. The truth was now exposed for everyone to see. A gallery of betrayal, capturing the affair that had shattered my life. Bella's face turned ghastly pale, the blood draining from her cheeks. Her hands trembled as she struggled to grasp what was happening. My parents instinctively tried to intervene to silence me, but I wasn't going to let them. I took a deep breath and let the words flow. I revealed the entire affair, detailing how they had helped cover it up, how they pretended everything was fine while Liam betrayed me with my wife. Liam's wife, completely shocked, stormed out of the room, yelling at him, calling him a traitor, expressing disbelief at how he could have done all this. It was likely a similar expression and feeling to what I experienced when I first discovered the entire ordeal. My parents were left speechless, unable to defend their golden child this time. The world they had so carefully built around Liam was crumbling, piece by piece, as I unveiled the chaos he had orchestrated. Standing there in the middle of the crowd, I felt something strange, a sense of release washing over me. Some people approached me to offer comfort, but I didn't need any of that at the moment, because I had done what needed to be done. So I took my things and left. 2 weeks have passed since my last update, and I think the dust has settled enough to share the aftermath of my surprise at the baby shower, and the fallout for everyone involved in the betrayal. The night I revealed everything, I left the party as soon as I finished showing the evidence. I didn't want to talk to anyone or face the reactions of those who had been my family until then. I didn't know what had happened afterward until Liam's friend, well, now ex-friend, contacted me a few days later. He, one of Liam's closest confidants, started the conversation in a tone ranging from disbelief to utter disgust. He told me that after what I had exposed, he had opened his eyes to Liam's true personality. In his words, if Liam could cheat on his own brother with his wife, what guarantee did anyone have that he wouldn't do the same to him? The betrayal he witnessed at the party had left him with a profound sense of doubt, and he felt unable to continue his friendship with someone like that. During our conversation, he even asked for advice on how to investigate his wife to ensure she wasn't hiding something similar. I told him to thoroughly check her social media, text messages, and any conversations on her phone that might seem suspicious. I also made it clear that if he discovered anything important, I'd be waiting for him to share it, as I know many of you would also want to know. But that wasn't all he told me. Apparently, after I left the party, the venue turned into a full-on battleground. Liam's wife's family was there, and once they understood the situation, a wave of shouting and accusations filled the air. Liam's wife's parents were as furious as they were disappointed, hurling harsh words and insults at him for what he had done. My father, with whatever dignity he had left, tried to intervene to defend his son, claiming that Liam was hopeless, and they shouldn't speak to him that way. But Liam's father-in-law wasn't holding back, retorting that their dear son was nothing but a harlot of Babylon. Let's just say he used a much cruder term. That comment hit my father like a dagger, and he charged at Liam's father-in-law, intending to settle things physically. It didn't go well for him. Liam's father-in-law landed a single punch that sent him to the ground. He didn't lose consciousness but stayed on the floor, either from humiliation or fear of receiving another blow. And it wasn't just the men willing to fight. Liam's mother-in-law, enraged by everything that had happened, began insulting my mother, who didn't hold back either, calling Liam's father-in-law a gorilla for hitting her husband. This provoked the other woman to lunge at her. The scene was brutal. I heard Liam's mother-in-law pulled my mother's hair so hard she had to be separated by others. My mother ended up losing a chunk of hair. And someone even joked that she might want to start considering a wig. Some guests tried to stop the fight, managing to calm things down before it escalated further. I admit that deep down, I felt a twinge of regret for not staying at the party to witness the fallout of my gift. It's akin to the feeling you get when you miss school on the most eventful day of the year. But despite the curiosity, I know it was for the best. I left to maintain my own peace of mind and avoid getting caught in the shame and chaos. Surprisingly, Liam came out of the situation physically unharmed. Not because he didn't deserve it, but because he's the golden child. He's perfect, and everyone present, even the most furious, had enough self-control not to harm him physically, although there's a high chance the baby my wife is expecting is his. It's not the child's fault that their father was such a deceitful and treacherous person. As for my wife, or rather soon-to-be ex-wife, things have progressed quite a bit. I delivered the divorce papers to her as soon as I could get them processed. She didn't get punched during the party because I think she had enough sense to stay silent and try to make herself invisible among the crowd. Apparently, this strategy worked as she avoided a punch from Liam's father-in-law. A punch she deserved more than anyone else, especially since his father-in-law was so willing to throw one. Later, when she got home, she found all her belongings thrown out on the lawn. I hadn't left a single thing of hers inside. Everything was on the grass, waiting for her to get the message. She didn't say a word or knock on the door to talk to me. She simply collected her things and left. And now we're waiting to see what happens with the house once the divorce is finalized. In the past 2 weeks, neither my brother nor my family has tried to contact me, neither to apologize nor to lash out at me, which doesn't surprise me. Even though I was the one most affected by all this, apart from my father's humiliation, they don't have enough shame or remorse to reach out and apologize. This confirms what I've always suspected. To them, Liam will always be the priority, no matter what. This betrayal and public humiliation, while catastrophic, doesn't seem to be enough to make them reflect. I've spent my whole life trying to find a place in my family, seeking to be seen and valued. But these events have shown me that it will never happen. No matter how much they hurt me or betray my trust, I'll always be the son they can overlook. I love that saying. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And that's exactly what happened to my ex-wife. But let me not jump ahead and share how things have been over the last few months. It turns out that Liam's now ex-friend, whom I helped with his investigation, discovered that his wife was also cheating on him with my brother. As you can imagine, he confronted her immediately. During the argument, the friend mentioned that my ex-wife was also involved in this whole mess. What did his wife do? Without saying a word, she went straight to my brother's house, where he was living with my ex-wife because they believed the baby she was expecting was his. What happened next was the best part. The woman punched my ex-wife directly in the face. So even though she managed to avoid a punch at the party, she finally got what she deserved. Obviously, my ex has decided to sue her over the punch because she was pregnant, and as always, Liam couldn't do anything but watch what was happening, though I'm not sure what has happened with that legal matter, and honestly, I'm not too interested. As for my brother's wife, she moved out as soon as she found out about the whole situation and immediately filed for divorce. That divorce hasn't been finalized yet, probably because my ex is involved, and those processes tend to take longer. My own divorce, on the other hand, was completed about a month ago. For those wondering about assets, the house we shared was sold, and we split the money evenly. Neither of us has to pay spousal support, and since there were no kids, the process was simpler. I think the fact that my divorce was resolved quickly only made the chaos surrounding my brother seem even more eternal and messy. Going back to my ex-wife, after receiving that punch to the face, she also got an emotional blow upon learning that he had cheated on her. In an ironic twist of fate, she decided to move out of my brother's house as well, unable to bear the idea that he might have cheated on her. This part makes me laugh, though it also makes me wonder about the logic behind infidelity and people like them. How can someone so willing to cheat on their partner with another person now feel hurt because that person cheated on them? Maybe I don't understand jealousy in that situation, because fortunately, I'm a decent person, and I've never felt the urge to betray someone in such a way. The hypocrisy in her is so evident it's almost hilarious. But the situation doesn't stop there, because now comes the unexpected twist. My wife's baby has been born, and as you'd imagine, a DNA test was done immediately. Turns out I was not the father. The baby is the child of Liam. What surprises me is that despite this man being the father, there could very well have been another candidate. Knowing my brother and seeing how he's handled himself during all of this, it wouldn't surprise me if there were more contenders in the paternity matter. Honestly, given who my parents and brother are, this doesn't seem strange at all. For them, this is just another Tuesday. The level of chaos and drama they live with is so routine that they barely seem to care about how absurd the situation is. And no, neither my parents nor my brother have attempted to contact me since. But this time and just this once, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe it's not that they don't care about me as a son or brother. They're probably just too busy dealing with the disaster they've created themselves. First, let me clarify something because it seems some people didn't catch the sarcasm in my last update. When I said I gave my family the benefit of the doubt, I was being sarcastic. No, I don't think they've ever truly cared. And even if there hadn't been a scandal of this magnitude, they still wouldn't have bothered to reach out. Moving on to the update. My brother has ended up moving back into our parents' house. Why? Well, the biological mother of his baby decided not to stay with him, and while she's been unfaithful, I understand her decision. Staying with someone as untrustworthy as my brother sounds more like a punishment than a reward. So, alone and with a baby, he returned to the only place where he seems to still be welcomed with open arms, our parents' house. As for my brother's divorce, it concluded in a favorable manner for my ex-sister-in-law. The house they shared was sold, and she doesn't have to pay either child support or spousal support. I think this was the best-case scenario for her. Now she can walk away from this whole mess without any financial or personal ties to my brother. It's like life gave her a one-way ticket out, and I can't imagine a better ending for her. Liam's ex-friend also finalized his divorce, and in terms of peace and counterpunches, it seems things have settled down. Although with everything that has happened, it's clear that many people in this story are still deserving of another punch. For now, the physical dramas have ceased, but the memories will remain engraved in the minds of everyone involved, and some on their faces. I may have lost a wife and a brother in this chaotic storm, but I gained something far more precious. My self-respect and the undeniable brutal truth. My eyes are finally wide open. What do you think of this whirlwind of a story? What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts.